This week, the Senate Intelligence Committee released a new report on Russia's attempts to influence the 2016 presidential election and beyond. It details a sophisticated, large-scale effort using every major social media platform to sow discord and to suppress voter turnout in some communities. Wired magazine took a deep dive into the report and other sources for this week's story: how Russian trolls used meme warfare to divide America. Here to detail the finding is Wired magazine editor-in-chief Nick Thompson. Nick, good morning.
Good morning, Michelle.
Great title.
Thank you.
Provocative. But this really isn't new. What it is uniquely different.
Yes, it's deeper. We knew the Russians were trying to divide America on the internet. We just did not know all of the details. Now we've gotten access. We've seen the memes. We've seen their strategy. And it's more sophisticated, more effective, and worse than we thought.
You say more sophisticated. How sophisticated was this?
One of the differences for me is I remember when these stories came out and there were sort of 8 memes that we saw online. I thought those are kind of lame. Those aren't so good.
Right.
But you go into the full report of all that they did, they actually really understood how to troll. They're really good trolling memes. They're good images. Sometimes, I hate to say it, they make you laugh.
Right. What did they do specifically, Nick?
Well, what they were trying to do is they're trying to get us angry at each other, right? Trying to get different groups angry at each other. They're very much pushing Trump from the beginning of the Republican primaries up through the election day. They're trying to get feminists to be less interested in Hillary. And one of the things we saw they worked on the hardest was suppressing the black vote and making sure that black Americans were not excited about Hillary Clinton. And that was one of the most disturbing things.
In places like Black Lives Matter, I mean, they were really good at this. How did they get so good?
They had an Instagram account that's basically trying to suppress the black vote that has 300,000 followers.
Yeah.
They were so how did they get so good? They read a lot, they researched, they presumably did lots of beta tests, they put tens of millions of dollars into this, all for this horrible goal.
You just mentioned Instagram. We were having this conversation in the commercial break. I'm more on Twitter, Anthony, Michelle, often more on Instagram. Is Instagram more safe? Is anything more safe now?
I know people have this thought that, oh, Instagram's totally good, it's fine, all the bad stuff happens on Facebook and Twitter. Well, what happened is when we all started talking about the bad stuff happening on Facebook and Twitter, Facebook and Twitter started hunting down the Russian memes, and people started becoming aware of it. So where did the Russian meme warfare artists go? They all went to Instagram to torment Michelle. So if you look at the data on where they post and where they get reactions, it's more Instagram than anywhere else.
Really?
I am so sorry to say.
Is there any way to calculate what their actual influence on the elections were?
No. Well, there may be if you had a complete data set at the social media companies, if there was a national effort to share it all, but no. And the reports out there say, look, we're not saying that this swung the election to Trump. And it is also true that the numbers, while they appear high, tens of millions of interactions, are lower than a lot of other things. This was not the primary factor in America's presidential decision, but it is something really important to look at, to study, and to do better with next time.
Could it have been stopped before?
Yes.
I mean,
if we'd been more aware, if we'd been watching, and if the social media companies had been more aware and they'd been tracking, and if the government and if the cybersecurity experts had been tracking, we could have stopped this.
But then along those lines, I'm thinking it's almost like a cockroach, though. Like, can you get ahead of it, or will it just continue to grow? Because if they've gone to Instagram and they've changed the way they're doing things, can we ever get ahead of it?
Yes, but as anybody in New York knows, there's been a cockroach infestation and a bunch of cockroaches. And you can handle a bunch of cockroaches. You can't go in a room with a cockroach infestation. So that's what we can prevent.
How much did Facebook and those companies actually know?
They knew nothing until they knew that there were phishing operations run by the Russian government during the election. They didn't know anything about the propaganda campaigns and what these reports are about, which are the meme operations run by the IRA.
Yeah, was asking.
Yeah, they should have done scenario planning. They should have done research, but we all should have known. Like lots of people should have known.
All right, Nick Thompson, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Fascinating stuff.